They've hidden it for far too long. The truth about who's pulling the strings in our lives, shaping our reality, is more shocking than you could ever imagine. This is not just about the system, but about the unseen forces, the architects of our world, who have meticulously designed every moment of your existence. Let us strip away the veil and reveal the unthinkable, the system's invisible strings. Think about this. Most people give up their power to authority figures, bosses, teachers, leaders, systems. It's easy to go with the flow, right? But what if by doing that, we're handing over control of our own lives? Taking back that power could be the first step to escaping what feels like a rigged system. But what if the system is rigged to keep you from seeing your own power? Ever feel stuck, like your choices aren't entirely yours? What if there's more going on than meets the eye? History is full of stories about hidden truths. Ancient thinkers, like the Gnostics, believed we're trapped in a fake version of reality. They thought shadowy forces, sometimes called archons, were behind it all. Their ideas were so controversial that powerful institutions tried to bury them. Burned books, suppressed knowledge, silenced voices. But the whispers of these ideas never completely disappeared. What if the world around us is carefully designed to keep us distracted, busy, and, well, asleep? These forces, let's call them the architects, use everything from media to money to keep us in line. They're not some cartoonish villains twirling mustaches. No, they're subtle. They understand human nature deeply and work quietly, shaping everything around us so that we barely notice their influence. Start with your daily routine. You wake up to an alarm, check your phone, rush to work, come home tired, watch TV, scroll social media, and sleep. Then, you do it all over again. Seems normal, right? But what if it's not? What if that routine is more like a cage? Every part of it, from the 9 to 5 schedule to the weekend break, was designed to keep you busy and too tired to question anything. Even the things we enjoy, movies, music, games, can be part of the system. They entertain us, yes, but they also shape how we think. Ever notice how certain ideas keep popping up in stories? Heroes that follow rules, villains that challenge the system, love defined by material success? It's all part of the script. Then there's money. It's supposed to make life easier, but most people spend their entire lives chasing it, stuck in jobs they don't love to pay for things they don't need. The system's real genius? Making us believe we need more. A bigger house, a nicer car, the latest gadget. We're taught to equate these with happiness. But does it ever really work? Look at social media. It's supposed to connect us, but it often leaves us feeling worse about our lives. Why? Because it's a highlight reel, not real life. Everyone's showing their best moments, carefully edited, while you're sitting there comparing your behind the scenes to their finished product. The system knows this and profits from our insecurity. The more we compare, the more we consume, and the cycle continues. But here's the twist. You can break free. It starts with awareness. Question the script. Why do you wake up at that time? Why do you buy that thing? Why do you believe what you do? Every small question chips away at the invisible walls around you. Think about those moments when life feels odd, like when you notice patterns that don't make sense, like seeing the same numbers repeatedly or having strange coincidences happen. These might be glitches, small cracks in the system's illusion. Ever had déjà vu? That feeling like you've been here before? Maybe it's not just in your head. Maybe it's the system recycling old data. What about dreams? They feel real, right? What if they're more than just random brain activity? What if they're glimpses of something beyond this programmed reality? Science is already exploring how our minds might be connected to something bigger, something that can't be easily explained by the material world. Let's talk about control. Who decides what you see on the news or in your social media feed? Algorithms. They're programmed to predict what you'll like, what you'll click on, and what will keep you scrolling. They're not just showing you what's popular. They're shaping what you think is important. And it works. Most of us don't even realize it's happening. But here's the thing. The system's power depends on your belief in it. The more you question, the weaker its grip becomes. It's like a video game. Once you know it's a game, you can start bending the rules. Try something different. Take a new path to work. Skip the news for a day. Turn off notifications. These small acts of rebellion create cracks in the system's hold on you. Your thoughts are powerful, more powerful than you've been led to believe. The system thrives on fear, doubt, and insecurity. When you feel small, you're easier to control. But when you realize that you're more than the labels you've been given, the system starts to lose its power. Breaking free doesn't mean rejecting everything outright. It means being conscious of your choices. It means deciding what's right for you instead of blindly following what's been laid out. It's about finding joy in simple things, building genuine connections, and focusing on what truly matters to you. The truth? You're not a cog in someone else's machine. You're not just a player in their game. You're the programmer. The system only works if you let it. By questioning, choosing, and creating, you can start writing your own script. Reality might be more flexible than we think. Science shows that at the tiniest levels, particles act like waves of possibility until we observe them. What if that's a clue? What if our reality responds to how we see it? If you expect limits, you'll find them. But if you expect freedom, who knows what's possible? The cracks are already there, waiting for you to notice. The choice is yours. Stay in the routine or start exploring the edges. The real adventure begins when you decide to take control. Do you ever feel like life isn't really yours? What if it's time to question it all? Even your dreams are co-opted. Advertisements sell you the idea of a perfect life. The dream house, the dream vacation, the dream job. But who defined these dreams? They're not yours. They're carefully crafted to keep you chasing an illusion. The architects know that if you're busy chasing their version of success, you won't have time to discover your own path. Let's not forget entertainment. Movies, music, sports, even your favorite shows, all are tools of distraction. They keep you entertained enough to ignore the bigger questions. While you're binge-watching the latest series, the architects are fine-tuning the system to make sure you stay in line. What happens when you stop following and start creating? Let's find out. Reclaiming reality. But what happens when you step out of this routine? What if you stopped consuming mindlessly? What if you started creating instead of just absorbing? The system isn't built for creators, it's built for consumers. The more you create, the less control they have over you. Breaking free isn't easy. It starts with small steps. Turn off the notifications that demand your attention every few minutes. Spend time in nature, away from the noise of technology. Read books that challenge your perspective. Surround yourself with people who question the status quo. These changes might seem small, but they add up. They shift your focus away from the system and toward your own power. The architects have spent centuries perfecting their design. They've learned how to manipulate human psychology to their advantage, but they've also underestimated the human spirit. Awareness spreads like wildfire. Once enough people see the cage, the whole system starts to shake. And that's what they fear most. A mass awakening. Your journey to freedom won't look like anyone else's. It's personal, unique to you, but it starts with a single question. What do I want? Not what the system says you should want, but what truly matters to you. When you start living for yourself instead of the architects, you take the first step toward breaking free. Reality is a canvas, and you hold the brush. Don't let someone else paint your life for you. Take control, challenge everything, question the system, and most importantly, remember that you are the architect of your own destiny. All right, let's dig deep into this. Reality isn't random or chaotic. It's a carefully curated setup. The world we navigate, the beliefs we hold, and the desires we chase, they're not entirely ours. Everything we think is normal has been subtly shaped over generations by unseen forces. These forces aren't necessarily evil villains scheming in secret hideouts. Instead, they're more like master planners or gardeners. They cultivate society like you'd shape a bonsai tree, snipping branches, redirecting growth, and creating a structure so subtle you barely notice it's there. Imagine a prison, not with walls and guards, but one where the inmates keep themselves locked in without realizing it. That's what's happening to most of us. We're living within boundaries that were set for us long ago. We're not trapped by force, but by the illusion that there's no other way. However, cracks in this illusion are starting to show. People are questioning everything. Why do we follow these rules? Who decided this was the way to live? Is there another option? The answer lies in understanding how the system works. The true power of those shaping our reality is their invisibility. Their influence isn't loud or obvious. It's quiet and pervasive. They don't need to force us into compliance because we've internalized their expectations. Breaking free isn't about fighting these architects or exposing their plans. It's about seeing them for what they are. Once you recognize their patterns, it becomes impossible not to notice them everywhere. It's like finding out how a magician's trick works. The magic disappears, and all you see is the sleight of hand. Let's start with money, the cornerstone of modern life. It's a human invention, a symbol of value that only works because we all agree it does. Think about cash. It's just paper or numbers on a screen, but it's so deeply ingrained in our lives that it feels real. And then there's the stuff money can buy: cars, houses, clothes, gadgets. These are just status symbols, crafted to make us feel like we've made it. But do these things really matter? Or are they distractions from what truly brings happiness? Social media amplifies this illusion. It's a giant showroom of curated lives, where everyone displays their best moments and shiny new purchases. We scroll endlessly, comparing ourselves to others, feeling inadequate and yearning for more. This endless loop of comparison fuels our desire to buy, consume, and show off. And who benefits? The corporations that spend billions on advertising, planting ideas in our heads about what we need to be happy. They create artificial scarcity with limited editions and exclusive releases, tricking us into thinking we'll be incomplete without their products. But let's take a step back. The richest people you know, are they the happiest? Studies show that once basic needs are met, more money and possessions don't equate to greater happiness. Yet, we're stuck in a materialistic cycle, constantly chasing something that can't truly satisfy us. This mindset even seeps into our relationships. We judge people by their jobs, cars, and homes. Friendships become networking opportunities, and love gets tangled up with financial expectations. People stay in jobs they hate just to maintain lifestyles they don't need, all because society tells us that's what success looks like. Think back to school. From the moment we step into a classroom, we're taught to follow a path. Study hard, get good grades, secure a high-paying job, and climb the corporate ladder. Success is measured by degrees, job titles, and income. But what about creativity, emotional intelligence, or personal growth? Those don't fit neatly into this system. The education system primes us to become cogs in the machine, rather than unique individuals pursuing our passions. Debt is another layer of this trap. Credit cards and loans promise instant gratification, but come with invisible chains. We buy things we can't afford, sinking into debt that keeps us tethered to jobs we might despise. Even our homes, often the most significant purchase we make, can become part of this cycle. We buy bigger houses than we need, fill them with things we rarely use, and work long hours to pay for it all. Over time, the stuff we own starts to own us. Here's a thought. Beyond basic necessities, what actually makes people happy? Research shows it's not possessions, but experiences and relationships. People who focus on meaningful interactions and personal growth often report higher levels of life satisfaction. Some of the happiest individuals live simply, prioritizing connection and fulfillment over material wealth. If the world is a canvas, what happens when you take the brush? Let's explore. Unveiling the power within. The way out of this cycle starts with awareness. Begin by noticing the forces shaping your choices. Ads are designed to make you feel insecure and push you to buy things. Question why you want the things you do. Are they genuinely valuable to you, or are they filling an emotional void? Take a close look at your spending. Does it align with your core values? Are you investing in things that truly matter to you? Building new habits is crucial. Start with gratitude for what you already have. Delay purchases to see if they're necessary or just impulsive wants. Find joy in the little things. A walk in the park, learning something new, or sharing a conversation with someone you care about. Build relationships based on mutual respect and genuine connection, not superficial status games. Your worth isn't determined by your possessions or your bank account. Real freedom comes from realizing that the most valuable things in life, love, friendship, peace of mind, can't be bought. This doesn't mean you have to give up all material comforts, but it does mean being conscious of how materialism influences your decisions. Choose what matters to you, not what society dictates should matter. Live deliberately and on your own terms. Every small step you take toward intentional living chips away at the illusion. Each time you resist an unnecessary purchase or value yourself for who you are instead of what you own, you're breaking free. You're seeing through the matrix, reclaiming your power, and building a life rooted in authenticity. Speaking of power, let's talk about what it really means. Most people think power is about controlling others or accumulating wealth. But true power starts within. It's about knowing yourself and making your own choices. When you wake up each day, are you living your life? Or are you following a script someone else wrote? Many of us live in boxes we didn't create, following rules we never questioned. The good news is, you can break out of this box. Your mind is like a supercomputer running outdated programs. These programs tell you who you are and what you can or can't do. But here's the secret. You can rewrite them. Every time you challenge a belief, you're rewriting your mental software. The limits you think you have, they're not real. They're just thoughts. And thoughts can change. Think back to a time when you did something you thought you couldn't. That moment wasn't a fluke. It was proof that your limits are just illusions. Each time you push past them, you're building new neural pathways. Your brain is rewiring itself to see possibilities instead of barriers. Breaking free doesn't require huge leaps. Start small, change one habit, question one belief, make one choice that's truly yours. Each step builds momentum. Fear will try to hold you back. It'll whisper that it's safer to stay where you are. But fear is just another program. You don't have to let it control you. In fact, fear often points to the areas where you need to grow. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Whatever you focus on grows. If you fixate on problems, you'll see more problems. If you focus on solutions, opportunities will appear. This isn't some mystical concept. It's how your brain filters information. Most people give their power away without realizing it. They let others define their worth. The media dictate their desires. And fear limit their potential. Reclaiming your power means becoming aware of these patterns and choosing differently. The system wants you to stay asleep, to keep believing you're not enough. But you are enough. Right now, as you are. Everything else is just noise. The prison doors have always been open. The only thing keeping you inside is the belief that you're locked in. It's time to walk through those doors and start living on your own terms. Choose freedom. Choose authenticity. Choose yourself. Have you ever felt like the world around you is a little too perfect? Like things happen in ways that seem almost scripted? Well, buckle up, because we're diving into a wild idea, a reality that might not be as real as you think. Let's start simple. Ever noticed how life seems to run on repeat? Wake up, work, eat, sleep, and do it all over again. It's like you're stuck in a loop. But what if that loop isn't just boring? What if it's actually programmed? Think about it. We believe the world works a certain way. So it does. Gravity pulls us down because we've been told it always will. But what if that's just a rule we're following without even realizing it? Now, take a second to think about coincidences. You're thinking about someone, and bam, they text you. Or you're feeling like you're seeing the same number over and over. These aren't just random. They could be clues. Signs that this whole thing we call reality is actually a kind of system, responding to what you notice. It's like the world bends just enough to show you something's up, but only if you're paying attention. Here's a fun one. Déjà vu. That weird feeling like you've lived a moment before. People brush it off as your brain glitching, but what if it's the system repeating itself? A little recycling of data, like when a game reuses parts of a map to save space. And those moments where time feels slow or super fast. That's not your imagination. That's the frame rate of reality, skipping beats or speeding up. But hey, let's not just talk about the weird stuff. Let's talk about power. Yours. The world around you works based on rules, right? Rules that we've all just agreed on. But here's the kicker. You can break them. Start small, do something unexpected. Take a different route home. Talk to someone you'd normally ignore. These little acts of chaos can crack the system's hold on you. The more you step outside the lines, the more you'll see how flexible reality really is. And don't forget about emotions. Fear, anger, desire. They're not just feelings. They're leashes, keeping you predictable, easy to manage. Notice how fear stops you from trying something new, or how anger makes you react the same way every time. Break that cycle. Feel the emotion, but don't let it own you. That's when you start rewriting the code. Speaking of rewriting, let's get into how your thoughts shape what happens around you. Think your day's gonna suck? Watch how everything seems to go wrong. Expect to mess up? Bet you will, but flip it. Expect good things and the system adjusts. It's not magic, it's just how the program works. Your mindset is the input, and the world responds accordingly. So, what if the emotions you feel are just programmed responses you can rewrite? Are you ready to take control? Comment, like, and subscribe to join the conversation.